They call me the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, and yeah, I mean, that part's true. Longest reign this business has ever seen. But you know what's funny? Nobody ever asks about that. They just want to talk about the other thing, the ending. Less than a minute, and everything I built for years was just gone. I've kept my mouth shut about what really happened backstage for a long, long time, but not anymore. Tonight, I'm done staying quiet. So before we get to the ending, I mean, everybody wants to jump straight to that. There's something else, something that follows me around more than people realize. This one goes back to 1987, February 1987 to be exact. And that's when I went on this man's talk show. His set, they called it the Snake Pit. Now, I mean, the whole idea, you know, was simple. It was a storyline. I go on his show, I smash a guitar over his back, and that kicks off a feud. That's it. That's the business. And the guitar, I mean, it's supposed to be a prop, breaks apart on impact. Doesn't hurt anybody. That's how it's built. That's how it's always been done. But something happened that day. I don't, you know, I still don't fully know how to explain it. Even now, the guitar didn't break the way it was supposed to. And he went down. And from that day forward, I mean, for decades, this man has told people that it changed his life, that it hurt him in ways that followed him for years, that it started something he never recovered from. And look, I'm not going to sit here and talk about what happened in his life after that. That's not my story to tell, that's his. But what I will say is this, people have blamed me. For a long, long time, people have pointed at me and said, that's the man who did it. That's the man who broke something that day that never got fixed. And I've had to live with that. You carry that, you know, you carry it into every interview, every locker room, every conversation where somebody brings up his name and then looks at you a certain way. Like you're supposed to apologize for something you're not even sure was your fault. I've said it before and I'll say it again, that guitar was rigged to break. I know what I was told, I know what the plan was, and I think, honestly, I think some of what got said about that day got bigger over time, got repeated so many times, it just became the truth, whether it happened that way or not. But here's the thing, here's the part that really gets me. I can defend myself all day. I can explain the plan, explain the prop, explain everything I was told to do that afternoon. Doesn't matter. Once a story like that gets out there, once people decide who the villain is, you don't get to take it back, you just carry it. And you know what's funny? I mean, funny in a sad way. That moment, that one segment on that one show, that's the thing that made people really believe I was the guy to hate. Not the championship, not the jumpsuit, not the guitar songs, none of that. That afternoon, that's when they decided, okay, this man, we don't like him, so I built a career off being hated. I did. I leaned into it. I made money off it. I'm not ashamed of that part. But I think people forget, underneath all that hate they were selling tickets for, there was a real cost to him. And maybe in a different way to me too, that's the first one. That's the one that started it all, really. And it wouldn't be the last time somebody in that company decided who I was before I ever got a chance to explain myself. So by this point, I mean, I'm sitting at the top of the card, champion, real champion, not a paper champion. I had that belt for over a year, and nobody could touch me. And when you're up there that long, you know, the company starts thinking about who's next, who's coming up. And there was a guy coming up fast at the time. And the plan was I lose the title. On national television, big show, huge audience, the kind of night where, I mean, whatever happens on that stage, that's the story people remember forever, and they wanted me to just hand it over. Clean, on camera, in front of everybody. Now, here's the thing people don't understand. It was never about the belt. I mean, I want to make that clear. Right now, I didn't care about losing the title itself. That's not what this is about. What I cared about was how the way I'd go out. Because back then, us old timers, we believed something real simple. If they tear you down on television in front of millions of people, you don't come back from that. You're done. Finished. Doesn't matter what else you do after. So I went to the man in charge, and I told him straight. I said, I'll do anything for this company, anything, but treat me right on television. Don't destroy me. That's all I asked. That's it. And he didn't want to hear it. Told me the plans were set, told me this was happening, and I said no. I told him I wasn't doing it, and I meant it. I was ready to walk, ready to pack up and take that belt somewhere else if I had to. I mean, you got to understand, back then, there were no contracts. Not really. It was a handshake business. So when I pushed back like that, that was me putting everything on the line. My whole spot, my whole future with that company. And he blinked. We didn't do the finish they planned. I kept the belt through a disqualification, not a clean loss. And on paper, I won that fight. But here's what I've learned, you know, looking back all these years later. You don't win a fight like that. Not really. Because after that night, something changed in how they looked at me. I wasn't the guy who does what he's told anymore. I was the guy who says no. And once you're that guy in that business, they remember. They don't trust you the same way again. I could feel it. The room got colder. The conversations got shorter. I was still on top, still champion, still making the money. But there was this distance now between me and the office that wasn't there before. And I'll be honest with you, I don't regret standing up for myself. Not for 1 second. I'd do it again. But I didn't understand yet what that kind of moment cost you down the line. You think you've won something, and really you've just started a clock. And you don't know when it's going to run out. I found out not too long after. So that clock I was talking about, it ran out at the biggest show of the summer. First one of its kind. The company had never done anything like it before, and everybody in the business knew this was going to be a special night. And I mean, I was on top of the world walking in. I want people to understand that I wasn't scared. I wasn't worried. I was the champion, had been for over a year at that point, longer than anybody before me, longer than anybody's really done it since. I was making more money than I'd ever made in my life, headlining everywhere. I thought I was untouchable. I had an opponent lined up, good opponent, real program, months of build behind it, the kind of feud that makes both guys money for a long time. And days before the show, that all changed. He gets pulled, storyline injury. And I remember standing there thinking, okay, who's next? Who am I facing? And nobody would tell me. I mean, I got on the microphone that night, and I did what I always did. I ran my mouth, told the crowd I didn't care who they put in front of me, anybody, bring anybody, because that's who I was That's the character, that's the confidence, that's Honky Tonk Man. And then the music hit, and I'm not gonna lie to you, right there in that moment, my face dropped. Everybody saw it. It's still out there for anybody to go look at. I turned white because I knew right then, standing in that ring, this isn't going the way I planned. And I mean, what happened next happened fast. Faster than fast, less than a minute, and it was over. My title, gone, just like that. No build up, no long fight, no nothing, just over. And here's the part that still gets me, even now, all these years later. It wasn't even about losing. I'd lost matches before. I'd have lost that title eventually, one way or another. That's the business, that's how it works. What got me was how it happened, the way it happened. Because you remember what I told you, right, in that room months before. I told the man in charge, don't destroy me on television. Treat me right. And that night, I mean, I don't know if that's what they were trying to do. I'm not saying that, but that's how it felt. That's exactly how it felt. Standing in that ring, hearing that music, watching my whole reign disappear in the time it takes to, I don't know, tie your shoe. And the crowd, this is the part that really sticks with me. The crowd went crazy. I mean, wild. They'd waited over a year to see me lose that belt, and when it finally happened, that building just exploded. And for a second, I thought, okay, I gave them what they wanted. This is what I signed up for. This is the job. But then, and I heard this back, I've watched the tapes. There's this second wave right after where it's like the crowd catches itself. Like they're thinking, wait, not like that. We wanted him to lose, but not like this. Not to this guy. Not in 30 seconds. And you can't win that. There's no version of that night where I walk out looking good. Even in defeat, even giving the fans exactly what they'd been begging for, I still somehow came out of it looking smaller, diminished. Like something got taken from me that I never got a chance to fight for. And I mean, after that night, I was never the same guy on that card again. I want to be honest with you. I never got back to that spot. Not really, not ever again. I did other things. I stayed around. I still made a living. But that top spot, that main event feeling, that was gone. That was gone the second that match ended. You spend over a year building something night after night, town after town, and it can all be taken from you in less time than it takes to read this sentence out loud. That's the business. That's the cruelty of it. And I don't think I really understood that, not fully till I was standing in that ring watching it happen to me. So years go by after that. I bounce around. I keep working. I keep the character alive on the independent circuit. And eventually another door opens. Another big company comes calling. And I remember thinking, okay, maybe this is it. Maybe this is a second chance. I mean, you got to understand what that felt like. After everything, after the ending, nobody let me choose. After years of not being in that top spot anymore, here's a whole new company telling me they want me. And a small part of me thought, all right, here we go. Here's my chance to build something again. Except it wasn't quite that simple. Right from the start, something fell off. Everybody else on that roster, they had real contracts, guaranteed money, security, the whole thing. Me, I was getting paid by the appearance. Show up, get paid. Don't show up, get nothing. And I mean, that tells you something right there about where they actually saw me. I tried not to let it bother me. I told myself, just go out, do the job, let the work speak. But it kept eating at me. because I'd been the guy who held that title longer than anybody in history. And now I'm out here getting treated like I got to prove myself all over again from scratch, like none of that happened. And then it came, they wanted me to lose again to a guy they were building up. And I mean, I get it. I do. That's the business. Somebody's always getting built up. But I looked at my situation. No contract, no guarantee, nothing protecting me. And I thought, if I do this job and they still don't give me security, what did I even lose it for? So I said no, again, just like before. And this time, it didn't go the way it went last time. This time, there was no room, no blinking. I said what I said right there, backstage. I told him straight I wasn't doing it without something in writing. And that was it. That was the whole conversation. I was done right there on the spot. And I mean, I've heard over the years how much that man enjoyed telling that story afterward, called it his favorite day. And, you know, I used to let that get to me. Now, I just think if being fired by somebody like that is the worst thing that ever happened to me, I got off pretty light compared to everything else I already told you about tonight. So here's where I've landed after all of it. The guitar shot nobody believes my side of. The trust I broke on my own terms and paid for later. 30 seconds that erased a year and a half of my life in front of millions of people. And a firing that closed the door on ever getting that spot back. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it doesn't still sting. Some of it does even now. But I've stopped waiting for people to say I was right. I know what happened. I lived it. And every one of those nights, good or bad, that's what built the man they finally put in that Hall of Fame. Not the wins, not the highlight reels, the nights that broke me, and the fact that I kept showing up anyway